Hello and welcome to another episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club, my ongoing video series where every other Monday I put up a new video taking a look at something from the world of anime that I want to chat with you about. Sometimes it's a deep dive into a subgenre, or it's me looking at anime from the past. But right now, I'm looking at anime from the present because it is, let me click the button here. There we go. The Spring 2024 Recommendations episode. That's right. I always like to, a few weeks into the season, as I know we're about like 3 or 4 episodes in at most, and some are a little behind that. But it's my time to talk about the shows that I'm really enjoying this season, and I got 4 to chat with you here, and they are different kinds of genres. I tried to branch out, so I wasn't just going to give you like 4 shonen or 4 romantic comedies, just like a little amuse-bouche here, a sampler platter of some anime from this current season that you might want to check out because maybe you haven't heard about it, because it's harder and harder these days to hear about anime to get on the ground floor of. You're often getting recommendations from stuff from previous seasons, or towards the end of a season, people were like, well, this is my favorite show. And it's a little bit hard these days to follow the hype. So maybe I can tell you about a show you might want to check out, and you can tell your friends about it and seem like you're on the ground floor. So let's start with the first one. Bartender Glass of God. This is not to be confused with Bartender, the mid-2000s anime adaptation of the same source material. This is Bartender Glass of God. It is, it's a slice of life about how good bartenders can be and how the perfect drink is perfect for your situation. It's got a plot that it seems to be following, but it's mostly an excuse for very well detailed animation shots of mixing a drink and the philosophies behind it, occasionally conflicting philosophies. And it is a love letter to the art of being an excellent bartender. Now, you might not know this because I don't know how much you know about me, but a little bit about myself. I don't drink. And I don't particularly care about drinking or the art of drinking, but I do appreciate a lover of a craft. If you are passionate about a thing, I am excited about you being excited about it. And just about every character in this show is either super into bartending and the perfect drink, the glass of God, or they are interested in the people who are interested in that. And that is a fantastic combination of characters to inhabit this world. Again, beautiful animation. It just looks so cool. It is, it's one of those slice of lives where it's just like a subject I don't think I'll care about after this. It's not going to make me want to go to a great bar where there's a rumored excellent bartender or something like that. It might not even make me want to go watch the previous incarnation of Bartender and compare and contrast like almost 20 years difference. But it does make me want to watch more episodes of the show, and that's kind of all I can ask for. So switching gears, we're going from a slice of life into something a bit different. It's time to talk about the shonen. Now, this is a season of excellent shonen and mediocre shonen. One of the best shows of this season so far, anyway, is Kaiju number 8. Which I'm not going to get into too many spoilers because the spoilers come pretty quick in the show. But I think it's one of those things where, like, if you don't know what the main character goes through, I think it's fun to discover that by watching it. So I will kind of skirt around it. We are in a post-apocalyptic world of monsters, and we are dealing with not only the groups of people that fight said kaiju, but also we're taking a look at the people who clean up after the mess. And I personally think there might be some interest and something interesting, I should say, about focusing purely on the aspects of who are the people that clean up the monster carcasses and rebuild the city. That, to me, seems very fascinating. We're not just focusing on that. We're really focusing on the monster fight and our main characters' somewhat unique method of fighting them and trying to figure out if he can balance that, keep a bunch of secrets, and also have some really fun, strong adventures. Animation is top tier here. This is an excellent looking show, great sounding show. There's a lot of heart and a lot of humor in it, and the humor is mostly great. There's a couple jokes pretty early on that I was like, all right. And yeah, of course, one must take into consideration the target audience of Shonen and the target audience of Kaiju number 8. I'm a bit older than the target demographic. That doesn't mean I can't enjoy it, and that doesn't mean that I can't want the best for the target demographic. So while I don't love all the jokes, it ain't terrible. And so far, even the characters that are like kind of unlikable have a reason they are that way, and you can kind of get behind it. I am sure I will be introduced. By the time this comes out, I might have already been introduced to a character that I will go, except for this person. But at the time of me recording this video, I don't hate any of the characters, which is great to say. If you want some cool monster fights here and a lot of unique, interesting designs for those monsters, Kaiju number 8 is worth taking a look at. Switching gears completely. Let's go as far away from the fighting monsters and being the underdog, rising to your hidden strengths and showing the world that you can help save the day. Let's jump from that to a very small story. Whisper Me a Love Song is one of many romantic comedies this season, and actually one of what appears to be 3 queer shows this season, which is a lot of queer shows for an anime season. One of those 3 may not actually be text. It might be subtext. It's seemingly going in that direction. But it might be, and they might pull it back. But this one is explicitly a Yuri love story. This is a lesbian love story with a, I would say, fairly unique misunderstanding at the heart of its premise. Imagine this. You are a musician. You are great at that. That is the thing you excel at. You're pretty good in school. The one area that you're not particularly great at is romance. You've never fallen in love. You can't really write love songs because you haven't experienced it. You've never even been confessed to. Until you are. Someone says it was love at first sight. And you don't even worry about the fact that that's a woman saying that to you. You internalize it. You wonder about it. And you say, okay, well, you seem interesting. I'm at least enamored with you on first meeting. Let's see what happens here. Let's try. We should at least go for it. And again, the misunderstanding comes in because the character who has announced their love for you was actually talking about your music. She fell in love with your musical ability at first sight. Now, you might imagine if this was not a story, that this would lead to anger, resentment, confusion, embarrassment. Perhaps you would just lash out. Instead, our main character says, oh, yeah? We'll see about that. I'm going to make you actually fall in love with me. You think you fell in love with my voice at first sight, you're going to fall in love with me. And it becomes a challenge, which is an interesting way to start a show. Basically, by episode 1, it's just like, that's where we're going. And the music has been top-notch so far. I can see both sides. I'm enjoying it. Obviously, I want love to win. I'd love to see them together. But along the way, it's going to get messy, and might be more misunderstandings. And we're going to learn more about these characters and other characters. And there might even be definitely are going to be other couples involved in this show. It's evoking a bit. If I can compare it to another show, the music isn't hitting my soul the same way Given hit my soul, but it's much more direct in that it's starting from place of, oh, we're dealing with love here, whereas Given was a real slow burn. Not to compare all queer media, but I'm going to compare that because it is another queer show of recent memory that also involves music. That one is about music and also love. This one seems to be more about love, where also music is a medium. Either way, Whisper Me a Love Song, which is on High Dive, in case you were like, I can't find this show, it's on High Dive, is fantastic and worth checking out. And finally, you're probably at this point going, Pat, you have not recommended an isekai yet. Are you okay? I am okay. And also, I'm going to recommend an isekai. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime has started its third season. It will be 24 episodes, back-to-back seasons, so no break in between. There won't be a part 1 and part 2. And we're already only a couple episodes into season 3, and I'm loving it. Now, if you gave up on season 2, or if season 2 disappointed you because it became more about the plot and the violence and the violence and the violence and less of the kind of slice of lifey action series about a incredibly powerful slime and his band of monster friends slash subordinates, you're getting a lot of that. There is plot. There is some episodes that focus a lot on meetings discussing things, but there's still a lot of that, like how to make the city better, how do we use our powers, what kind of goofy shenanigans can our characters get into. It's still got that slice of life flavor that feels a lot like the best parts of season 1 and all of Slime Diaries, the side series, which that's my bonus recommendation. If you really liked season 1 of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime and you didn't love all of season 2, Slime Diaries might be the show for you because it's all of the good stuff. It does also introduce a couple characters that kind of before you get to them in this show. Anyway, that's a side point. Let's get back to the main thing. Season 3 has been strong to start. I know we are going to get into some action because we are getting close and closer to bypassing the manga and actually just getting into just the light novel territory. They've moved some stuff around. There's a possibility they might jump ahead. They might go to some stuff that wasn't covered yet. They skipped because season 2 kind of jumped around a little bit. Even season 1 jumped ahead, and then season 2 went back to where they were and caught up and then kept going. It's been weird. It's a weird jumble sometimes. Just go with it. Yeah, I mean, I made my point here. If you were a little disappointed with all the action of season 2, there's a lot of cool hanging out. And if you loved that, I should say, if you loved Rimuru becoming a demon lord and then whooping everybody's ass and then becoming a true demon lord and whooping a very important character's ass, there's going to be some of that. There's another fight coming up. We got some cool characters. We got some discoveries of things. There's going to be some fun side characters that we haven't seen in a while coming in to play. And there'll be some movement from some new bad folks that are not related to the previous bad folks. There's a lot to love coming up in season 3. I wish the opening closing songs were better, but that's my only critique so far. The animation looks really good and feels like they're not skimping out on it, which is always a nice thing to see. That's That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime season 3, my fourth and final recommendation for the season. Because I guess if you like the manga Newgate, the anime is rough to look at, but the characterization is strong. That's my new isekai recommendation. It's a rough season for isekai, says the guy that watches a lot of isekai. My favorites so far are the returning ones. And the new ones, none of the new ones really hit me. And again, I like Newgate a lot, so I can overlook the fact that it looks like ass. And that's going to do it for my spring 2024 recommendations. In the comments below, I'd love to hear from you. What are you watching this season? I mean, I'm also watching other things besides what I recommended there that I didn't include in this list, like Windbreaker, which has been really fun, or Windbreakers. The Many Lives of Radio. I forget the full title. The voice actor one that may or may not be Yuri. I'm watching that. Tsukimichi, I'm watching season 3, part 2 of that, continuing on. Like, I'm watching quite a few things. These are my standouts. These are the ones that I can easily recommend. So I want to hear from you. What are you watching? And also, if you have a recommendation, I should say, of shows that you would like me to cover here. Maybe you want me to deep dive on a favorite show of yours, or maybe you want me to do another, like, weird manga titles investigation video, or you'd like another deep dive into a subgenre, and you're like, Pat, how did music idol shows come about? let me know in the comments. It's been a little while since I've had a recommendation, and I would love to get more. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a great rest of your week or 2 weeks until the next one. If you haven't checked it out yet, please also check out Baer, my weekly anime recommendation series. I talked about my favorite shows from the winter season all throughout the month of April. The month of May, I'm going to be tackling my favorite shows from the 2000s, or some of them at least. 5 of my favorite shows from 2000, we'll say that. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.